Hi everyone, welcome to another Yarn Scrap Friday with me, Laura, and in this video we're going to be celebrating St. Patrick's Day, of course, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make this teeny tiny little St. Patrick's Day hat, little Irish hat. So for this tutorial I'm going to be using some of my favourite yarn at the moment, a little plug here for Paintbox Yarns because I really like their yarns. These are some of the yarns I got in my advent calendar, which was really cool. Yes, a yarn advent calendar, can you believe, such an amazing thing. But we're going to be using some yellow, some green and some black, and this is a DK light worsted weight yarn, so that's a yarn weight of 3, and with that we're going to be using a 2.5mm crochet hook, so a small crochet hook. If you haven't got a 2.5, just use something around that size, will be fine. Okay, and that's all we're going to need. A pair of scissors and a yarn needle are also useful. So let's begin. Okay, so we're going to be starting off with the green to make the main part of the hat. So get yourself some green yarn. And the first thing we're going to do is a chain 4 loop. So let's do a slip knot. And we're going to chain 4. Chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. We're going to slip stitch into our first chains. Put your hook into your first chain. Bring the yarn through there and straight through the loop on your hook. And that creates a little 4 chain loop joined at the beginning and the end. And in the middle, of course, is a little hole. And into there, we are going to do 8 single crochet. But the first thing we're going to do is a little chain 1. Don't count that as a stitch, that's just there for a little bit of leverage. Then we're going to put our hook into the center of this 4 chain loop. Don't confuse it with your first chain hole, which can look quite big. You need to find that center hole. Bring the yarn through, then just wrapping it around. Do a single crochet. So this pattern's in US terminology, a single crochet in UK terminology is a double crochet. So you want 8 of these, so that's 1, go back in and do another single crochet, 2, we want 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1 more, 8. So we've got 8 single crochet in a 4 chain loop, and if you worked into the middle you should be able to just pull in that center hole almost like a magic circle. So you should have 8 single crochet, and then we're going to find our first single crochet and we're going to slip stitch into there. Just put your hook into there, your first single crochet, bring the yarn through there and straight for the loop on your hook to do a slip stitch. So by the end of that round you should have a stitch count of 8. Okay, so moving on to round 2, the first thing we're going to do is a little chain 1. Again, don't count that as a stitch. Then starting in the same stitch you just slip stitched into, I'm going to go back into there and do 2 single crochet. So that's 1 and go back into there again. Obviously I haven't caught that bit of yarn, just ignore that. Go back into there again and do another single crochet. So you've got 2 single crochet in there. We're going to do 2 single crochet in each stitch around until we get a stitch count of 16. So go into the next stitch and do 2 single crochet. So 1 and another one in the same stitch. 2 in there and 2 in the next one in each stitch around. So 2 in each. So that's 5 and 6, then 7 and 8, until you've got a stitch count of 16. 7 and 8, and 15 and 16 in the last stitch. 15 and 16. Okay, so you should have a stitch count of 16. Don't confuse that little bit there as a stitch. That's what I call a fake stitch. So you don't want to work into there. So you should have a stitch count of 16. Skip your little fake stitch, skip the little chain one, find your first single crochet and slip stitch into there. Okay, put back into there, bring the yarn through and straight for the loop on your hook to do a slip stitch. So by the end of that round you should have a stitch count of 16, and that's the end of the top of our hat. I'm just going to trim down this tail end because this really starts getting in the way. And what we're going to do now is we are going to move on to the next round, and the next round we are going to do a back post stitch in each stitch around, a single crochet. So first thing to do though is a little chain one just to get your leverage. Don't count that as a stitch. Now to do a single crochet back post stitch, it's quite simple, so don't panic too much if you're new to it. But what we're going to do is we're going to go into this same stitch we just slip stitched into, but we're going to go into it from the back. So instead of going in from the front, we're going to come from the back. It can be a little bit fiddly. Okay, so this is the same stitch we slip stitched into. Okay, then we're going to put our hook into the next stitch. Okay, and what that does is you end up catching this single bar of yarn here. Okay, so I'll show you that again. So we do our little chain one, and we're going to go into the same stitch we slip stitched into, so this one here, but instead of going from the front, we're going to come from the back. Try and do this slowly to show you. Okay, so we're coming from this side for the back, from the front to the back, so this is the back. And then we're going to go into the next stitch, like so, and you end up catching that single bar. Then what you want to do is grab your yarn and bring it underneath that bar. So you're still at the back, of your project, and then we do a single crochet. So we yarn over, pull through both loops, and that's a single crochet back post stitch. We're going to do one of those in each stitch around. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into the next stitch, which is the one we went through from the front last time, but this time we're going to come from the back. So this stitch that we went into from the front, we're going to now come from the back. Then we're going to go into the next stitch from the front, which will be the next stitch we work into. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, again you've caught that little bar, and bring the yarn through and do a single crochet. Okay, now we're going to go from the back of the next stitch, which is the one we went through from the front. So what we're doing is coming from the back, going into the next stitch from the front. Now this next stitch from the front is the one we want to start with the next time. So we're going to come in from the back through that stitch we went through the front last time, then go into the next stitch from the front. You end up catching this bar. I'm going to bring that yarn under that bar and then just yarn over and do a single crochet. Okay, so that's 3, and we want 16 of these. So the next one, come from the back for the stitch we went through from the front last time, then go over to the next stitch from the front, bring the yarn under that bar, do a single crochet. So do one single crochet back post stitch around each post around. So again, the next one, move over, grab the yarn. And the last one, we're going into the last stitch, and you'll have to come out through the fake stitch. So this one could be harder to see. This little fake stitch on the end is the one we'll have to come through to get your 16th. And then once you've done 16 of those, we need to find your first. Now you need to sort of turn your work because your stitches are now at a 90-degree angle rather than on here. So then you need to make sure you find your first single crochet, which is there, to the 90-degree angle to your project. we're going to slip stitch into there. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this. Okay, and that's what creates this nice flat top with a 90-degree angle to your hat. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do rounds 4, 5, 6 and 7. We're just going to do a little chain 1 to begin, little chain 1, and starting in the same stitch you just slip stitched into, go into it normally and do 1 single crochet. So just work into the stitch as normal now, and we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Just 1 single crochet in each stitch. And your stitches are now sat on top now. I'm going to do that for 4 rounds, okay? 4 rounds. So just 1 single crochet in each stitch around, chaining 1 at the beginning, starting in the same stitch you slip stitched into and slip stitch into it at the end. Do that for 4 rounds, keeping a stitch count of 16. So I should do that and come back. Okay, it's just coming up to the last couple of stitches on the last round. So I've just done 1 single crochet in each stitch around, chaining 1 at the beginning, and we're going to slip stitch at the end into our first single crochet. Make sure you've got a stitch count of 16. Don't include the chain 1 at the beginning as part of your stitch count. So you should have a little something that looks like this, like a little pot. And what we're going to do now is we're going to do a front post stitch now, so we're going to do the opposite. So we're going to do a little chain 1 to begin, don't count that as a stitch, and starting in the same stitch we just slip stitched into, we're going to do 1 single crochet front post stitch. So this time, last time we went from the back to the front, this time we're going to go from the front to the back, and then we're going to move over to the next stitch from the back, and this time you're catching the bar this side at the front, hence front post stitch. Then grab the yarn and bring it underneath that bar and do a single crochet. Okay, we're going to do 1 of those in each stitch around, but the same as we did for the back post stitch, we need to start in the stitch that we came out of last time. So this one that we came from the back last time, we're now going to go from the front. So don't go into a fresh stitch, go into the one that's already been worked. Go in there from the front, then move over to the next one, come through it from the back, and it catches that little bar. Grab the yarn and bring that underneath the bar and do a single crochet. I'm going to do 1 single crochet front post stitch around, keeping a stitch count of 16. Okay. So you go into the stitch last worked from the front, move over to the next stitch from the back, catches that bar, bring the yarn under the bar and do a single crochet. So that's 4, 5, it's coming up to the end. 15 and the last one. So for the last one you go into the last stitch, and then what you have to do is come out through the fake stitch, because you have to work around that last bar, so it can be a little bit tough. And then just work the yarn, bring that under the bar, and do the single crochet. Then what we're going to do is find your first single crochet and slip stitch into there to join the round. Okay, little slip stitch. So your stitches are now at a 90-degree angle to your hat. Should look a little something like this. And what we're going to do now is we're going to work the next round. So we're going to do a little chain 1 to begin, and starting in the same stitch just slip stitched into, we're going to do 1 single crochet in there, but in the next stitch we're going to do 2 single crochet. So in the next stitch you're going to do 2 single crochet, 1 and another one in the same stitch, and then we're going to repeat that pattern around. So in the next stitch we do 1 single crochet, next stitch 2 single crochet, so 1 and another in the same stitch, and repeat that pattern all the way around. So next stitch 1 single crochet, then 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, back to the beginning. You'll end up with a stitch count of 24. Okay, 24. So 1 single crochet, then 2 single crochet, 1 and 2. And 1 single crochet, then the very last stitch 2 single crochet. So you should end on 2 single crochet and you should have a stitch count of 24. 2. So remember, whenever you've done the front post or the back post stitches, your single crochets end up at a 90-degree angle. So you can see this is starting to come out. Then what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into our first single crochet. So don't work into that fake stitch there. Find your first single crochet, which is there. We're going to slip stitch into there. Then the last round of the hat, do a little chain 1 to begin. Again, don't count that as a stitch. Starting in the same stitch you just slip stitched into, go back into there and do 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, then 1 single crochet in the next stitch, then 2 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 and 2. Okay, and then we're going to repeat that pattern around. So 1 single crochet in the next 2. So 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, then 2 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 and 2. So repeat that round, doing 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet. Back to the beginning, you'll end on 2 single crochet and you shall have a stitch count of 32. Okay, so you should have a stitch count of 32. So 1 single crochet, the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, then 2 single crochet. Back to the beginning. Okay, to come to the last stitch, ending on 2 single crochet. The yarn almost looks blue on camera. It's actually very green. And then slip stitch in your first single crochet to join the round. Okay, so that's the end of our hat. We can cut our yarn. Just pull that through, then we can just hide that tail by getting our yarn needle. I'm just going to sew through that same single crochet underneath, and then just sew in a little bit just to secure. And just trim down the excess. And there we go. There is the main hat, all done. Now what we want to do is we want to add our little strap. So to do the strap, we're going to get our black yarn and we are going to chain 16 in black, and that's all we're going to do. Leave a little bit of a tail just to help us at the end. do a little slip knot. And I know it's black yarn and you can never see black yarn, but all we're going to do is chain 16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 14, 15 and 16. So we just chained 16, which is the circumference of our hat, and then we're going to cut our yarn again, leaving a little bit of a tail just for sewing. Pull that through. Okay, so that's our strap done, nice and simple. Then we want to get our yellow yarn to do the little buckle, and do the buckle. We chain 5. So again, leave a little bit of a tail just for knotting and sewing at the end. Chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, chain 5, and we're going to do 1/2 double crochet. So in UK terminology, that's a half treble in our 4th chain from our hook. So we're going to yarn over, and our 4th chain from our hook, we don't count the loop on our hook. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So this 4th chain is literally second to the last chain. Put our hook into there, and we're going to do 1/2 double crochet. So yarn over, pull through all 3. Then we're going to do 1/2 double crochet in the last stitch as well. And that's it, that's our buckle, and you'll see what we'll do with that in a minute. Leave a little bit of a tail, not too big, and then just pull that through. Now what we want to do is you want to feed our strap through our buckle. So take one end of your strap, thread it onto your yarn needle. Okay, then bring up your buckle, and what we're going to do is, keeping these tail ends to the left, come through the gap between those chains at the end and the first 1/2 double crochet. So come through that gap there. Okay, and just keep pulling until your strap starts coming through. Just hold on to the end. Then we need to go through the gap between the last two the other 2 1/2 double crochets. So that gap there, and again just pull that through. What that does is it goes over the center 1/2 double crochet. Then we just need to position the buckle in the middle of our strap. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to secure the strap onto the hat. Don't worry about all these tail ends on the buckle just yet. So making sure your buckle's in the middle, take one end of your strap, then finding the seam, this is where we're going to skewer it at the back, just sew in at the bottom where you want the buckle to the strap to go, come out on the inside. Okay, so that's there, and then we're going to take the other end, then wrapping your strap around your hat, we're going to go in there again. Okay, and you want to give that a tug so it meets up. Okay, make sure it's all lined up on the front, not twisted. Okay, so you want to make sure your buckle's nice and flat. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to just knot the black straps nice and tight. Do that twice. Then trim down the excess and just tuck the remaining black strands inside. Okay, so that's the black strap done. Now we need to sort out the yellow buckle. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this end, so making sure it's nice and square, we're going to just feed that to the inside as well. Okay, do the same for the other tail end, making sure to go to the other side of the strap without getting twisted. Okay, that's nice and secure, and then we just knot the yellow strands as well. Nice and tight. And trim that down and tuck the tail ends on the inside. And there we go, there is our little finished Irish hat with its buckle and strap. And then you can just curl up the sides if you want, like a little top hat. And there we go, another little Irishman's hat. And you can also use this as, because the hole's quite small, use it as a little pen topper if you want to. Or you can turn these into earrings or a keyring, whatever you want to do. But I hope you have a fantastic St. Patrick's Day, and I hope my Irish ancestors are proud of my little hat. I'll see you soon for some more crochet fun. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye. You know what this would look really great on? Do you know, if you remember my little shelf elf character from Christmas time, you could actually make one of those in nice Irish colours and use this as a little hat to go on top of him if you want to. Hopefully you're seeing a picture over the top. Entirely up to you. See you. Bye.